So back again with the turbocharger system I'm building. So just done an initial oil test, a pressure test with the oil. So just powering up the motor. It's pretty thin gauge wire. I need to thicken this up, but it lets me do what I need to do. So putting some zero weight oil into the oil tank. It's drawing it through. I've got a tiny leak from the back of this really expensive Chinese regulator on where the gauge threads, and so I need to put some sealant on there. And otherwise, the only other leak I've got is on this fitting here, so I'm going to take this off. I mean, I don't think it needs thread sealant. I'm going to put some in there anyway, and then just retighten everything and see if it saves it. But otherwise, yeah, it's working fine. It's filling up properly now into the turbo. I've set it to 60 psi at that battery voltage. Obviously, once it's on a proper system with a free turbine generating electricity, I need to change that. But this is all working fine, and it's draining back into here. I've also ordered a fitting to go on the bottom of the turbo here, so I can route it back to the oil tank. But yeah, otherwise it is working. The next project that I'm halfway through is building up the injector. So this is going to be the injector. So this guy here I'm machining at the moment screws into the back of this plate in the middle there. Okay, so this guy here will thread into this, and this on the other end will be the injector. So this is basically an oil nozzle from like a home heater boiler thing. So I think it's about 25-30 kilowatts, so it's quite meaty. But that will vaporise the oil because we're going to be running it on kerosene. My plan is to use an ME442 ECU, one of our engine management systems. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ECU to do the spark. So using spark test to get the spark going. There'll be a spark plug, obviously, again in this centre of this plate in here. So there'll be a spark plug in this side, poking through. And then I'm going to probably put another injector, another pipe on here, and actually have it on gas start. So I'm going to start it on propane, and then using some GPTs and an EGT probe, and I'm also going to build a turbine speed sensor as well. What will happen is the ECU, I'll set it up using its custom functionality. I'll set it up so that once the turbine here is up to speed and the tube is, and the flame front is up to a reasonable temperature to ignite the kerosene, when things start on the EGT measurement, because the 442's got direct EGT input, so I'll use that as well. Once it's up to the proper temperature, it will then taper across and run on kerosene, and the pump will spin up and start running on kerosene. I'm also waiting for some more of this section to turn up so I can build the brackets to mount all of this properly on here. I was going to run an entire top sheet of aluminium, but I'm actually not going to now. I'm going to leave it kind of open like this. Also, I say just some decent bracketry on there. And then I've got a plastic fuel tank coming for here. I've got another one of these pumps, which is going to be our fuel pump for the kerosene. And I've got a gas, we're going to use like a welding bottle, a gas propane bottle, I've got like an adapter, threaded adapter on there. I'm going to use like a little Pierberg valve for the gas regulation, so we can start it off, pulse width modulate the gas flow, base it on EGT, and use some feedback and some custom tables in the ECU to trigger different stages. And also, once it's up and running, the ignition spark plug cycle will actually drop down in frequency rather than being such a high frequency start. But otherwise, yeah, it's certainly getting there. I mean, the systems are coming together now. So yeah, looking forward to finishing it off. Cheers.